Hello fellow cultivators, welcome to the 12th and almost maybe the last or maybe the second to last episode for the Rewrite Destiny tier list, or say guide, because I realized that I haven't really made a proper tier list yet for Tale of Immortal. So this video will covering every single left destinies that haven't been covered in the previous 11 or 10-11 videos, because the first video is just a general guide. And the reason why, in the end, this doesn't really end up to be a standard tier list form, actually, I blame it on the fact that the visual design for the Rewrite Destiny is like this. It's basically a small square with some words in it. And if I do it in a standard tier list way, with several different tiers, and then I drag each of the icons onto different tiers, then there's nothing is visible because so many destinies. So yeah, but I might still think of a better form, like a recap episode after this, for everything. But I need to think about what's the best form for it. And if you have some better ideas, how should I present this? Just let me know in the comments. All right? Okay. So with all the preps done, let's talk about the leftover destinies. And spoiler alert, there will be a lot of them which are just simply bad and will be like lowest tier. However, let's start with some of the good ones. So first one, Warlord's Phantom. It is good in the way that it is good for certain builds. It's definitely not essential for that certain builds, but it still makes it good or makes it better in some way. But if you are not familiar with the game or familiar with the mechanic, it can actually make you worse. So it's in this weird state. And fun fact about this is it's probably one destiny that really makes new players very confused, because when they encounter NPCs who very frequently have this kind of destiny, it makes them very confused. So why? It's because what does this guy do? Every time you enter in battle, you basically convert all of your HP bar, apart from 10 HP left, into a shield bar. And so this is why, new players, they do not know shield mechanics. They will see some NPC they are fighting have almost no HP. They might be thinking, okay, I just need one hit to kill him. But you hit, it doesn't work. And this is because whatever you damage to the NPC is actually wearing down the shield. So even though he only have 10 HP, it's equivalent to the entire full bar of HP. And this also allows you to, directly regain some HP back if you have blood power or if you are blade build. And this is time when you might be thinking, does that mean that is it good for a blade build? I would say no. It's because, the only good thing about this is you can take back HPs, right? So basically, in total you have 2 HP bars now, 1 HP bar from lifesteal and 1 shield bar. However, if you think about it, if you are taking damage, and then you can still regain your HP back without this destiny as well. So it's essentially almost the same thing. It's only worse than with this destiny if you are not getting hit. So you are not stealing and recovering HP. But if you are not getting hit at all, then do you really need it? So instead, the build that this destiny is good for is obviously Heal Breaker. And this is quite straightforward, because Heal Breaker, you deal true damage based on how much shield you have. And if you do not have this destiny, how much shield you have depending on normally are coming from your martial skill, applying brass skin. But this does have a maximum limit. So, and even if you have a Feast Mastermind skill, the maximum will be for every 5 HP and 1 shield, basically 20% of the HP bar. However, with this, now you have the entire 100% of HP bar, and then you use Heal Breaker to blast this out, and you get crazy amount of damage. You one-shot almost everything in the game. However, I would still say that this is not essential for that build, because there are several reasons. One, there are enemies in this game with weird mechanics that you just cannot one-shot them. Okay, that's annoying, I know. 2, this thing will only work once. So the first time you enter in battle, you have this shield. And once you use Heal Breaker to break the shield, you do not have it anymore. You're just coming back to a standard 5th player. And to show that, let's get into a tower run, and let's see how it works. And to start a battle, we have this guy. This is already a bad sign because this is one of the reborn transcendent type of monsters. Many of them have the mechanic that you cannot one-shot them. So I don't know if this is the case, but let's start. And immediately our HP bar goes to 10 and our shield bar goes to maximum. Alright, and this is, and you can, if you look at our hero, our HP bar is almost 0. It looks very scary and confusing for new players, but let's see how does this work. And yeah, we one-shot it, and because we have blood power, we recover a lot of our HP, which is good. And that's one first hint to use this. You need to pair it with blood power, because once you finish this one, if you do not finish the battle, now you get to the next one. We do not convert the HP back to the shield anymore. So we only have this little bit shield, which is because I have a 5th martial skill, so every time I enter a new room, I gain some new shield. But as you can see, now I just become a standard, normal Hillbreaker shield player. I do not have the giant HP bar anymore, so it's really a one-time thing. Of course, if I quit this tower and then go to another battle, then I will again have the giant shield bar. But that's basically how a new thing works. And if you have this kind of, for example, tower battle or a series of different battles, then you are kind of not really using this to the maximum. That's why I'm saying that it's not something essential for it, because even without it, like now, I can still easily make Hillbreaker work. It's not like I can't do Hillbreaker anymore. Like, I still one-shot it as long as I have the Fairy Flame, right? So, yeah. And notice that another bad, more like weird thing about this. So I was lucky, like I came out of this battle with full health. Sometimes, for example, if you are roaming around in the regions where you can meet enemies, for example, Everfrost or the desert, you use Hillbreaker and you kill all the mobs, and that does not really bring your HP bar back to full, because they just do not have that much HP for you to life steal. You might end up with a very tiny amount of HP, and next time when you get into the battle, you won't even have a full HP bar. Instead, you will have maximum 30% HP bar if you actually have less than 30% HP. So, take it if you know how to play this game, if you know how to use it, and it's definitely useful, especially, for example, if you have Warlord Phantom against the final boss 天元猫的横天, you could use Sword Motion skill, come into its back, switch on the Fire Phoenix and use Hillbreaker, bam, you just one-shot the final boss of this game. That's how crazy good Warlord Phantom can be. But for newer players, or if you do not know how to play this game, it might bring you some problems. And also, finally, just want to mention that if you only have 10 HP, in this case, like if you're against an NPC with this thing, equip a Blade martial skill. Sadly, I do not have any Blade martial skill with the buff to yourself. So you can see I have Blood Blade. This is the debuff. And the other type of Blade martial skill which applies a buff to yourself, I think it's called Ruthless. And the effect of Ruthless is directly kill any enemy if their HP is below a certain threshold. So yeah, just equip any kind of Blade martial skill with the Ruthless buff to yourself, and then you just one-shot all these NPCs. The next one we are going to talk about is actually like next two. Both are good destinies for, again, Hillbreaker build. And that's why I pair it with, like in the same character where we have Warlord Phantom, I also have this, which is Catalyst. Basically, each artifact we equipped increase maximum HP by 7%, so 5 artifact, 35%. Similarly, Vitality Seed 3, maximum vitality plus 30%. I know it looks like 3, it looks like it's a series of destinies, but it's not, actually not. You don't need to take Vitality Seed 1 and 2 in order to take this. Which is okay, which is good because that saves you two slots, right? And apart from being a heal breaker shield in the build, I don't think these two are that useful because, I mean, looks nice, you need more HP, but you know, in this game, attack is king. It's defense is not, or HP is not. And the reason why this is good, not only because of combined with Warlord Phantom, you convert, since the more shield you have, the more HP you have, the more shield you have, right? Also, even if you do not have Warlord Phantom, simply because in the Feast Master you can have this 11th skill, for every 5 HP point you shield increased by 1. Again, just because of this, bring up HP will bring up more shield values, and that's why these two are good for a shield build. And just a side note, yeah, you also have energy seed 3, just like your vitality seed as well. So it's the same thing. Looks like a serious destiny, but it's actually not. And what does it do is 30% of maximum energy. So again, useless. I mean, you don't really need this thing. I mean, you don't need maximum energy or even maximum HP, because what actually matters in actual battle is mostly your HP and MP recovery. That is much more important in reality compared to the maximum value. I mean, I know you might be thinking, what about this guy, this thing, you know, artifact spirits? What about, where are you? Linger, yes. What about Linger and her skill about for every 30 energy you have, attack increased by 1. First of all, maximum increase of 1000 attack, which is, yeah, okay, if you have 30,000 MP, and that's not really scales with your maximum, but your current MP. And if you are, let's say, even the only time this 1000 attack is actually making a lot of difference at endgame is when you have a water build, which basically means you have not only you have a lot of energy bar, and also you have good energy recovery as well. And in this case, even if I had, you know, this energy seed, which brings up my energy to 50k, and that's still maximum is 1000, right? Even if I don't have it, I still have like 30k. So I still reach the maximum of 1000 attack I have. So I don't think that is much useful, just saying. And yeah, if you really have nothing else to take, take this thing combined with Linger with this talent, brings up some of your attack. Initially it's good, but later on in the end game you can still just get rid of it. The next one we are going to talk about is Counterattack, and this one I actually had a misunderstanding about it. So I think I blame it again, not on myself. Jokingly say, let's say I blame it on this mod I used to use, which allows you to show many of the temporary buffs duration times, including, for example, Fairy Flames, Lightning Bolt, which are quite useful. And previously, when I look at it, I realized that the Counterattack was also shown as a buff, which has a duration time. And that's what made me thought, oh, that means it's useless. Because what does it do is, for every 6% damage you receive in a battle, you increase your damage 1%. It looks up to 100%. So if you directly look at it, it looks really good. Because as long as you have life steal, which is really common thing, like as long as you have blood power, you don't need a blade build, but with a blade build, of course, there is better. Anyways, in that way, the longer you fought, you lose a lot of HP and you recover them, and in the end you will have 100% of damage increase. And this looks all very good, but at that time I thought, if this thing actually have a duration, which means you actually need to receive another stack of counterattack, like lose another 6% of damage within a few seconds, which is the buff duration time, then it's very unreliable. I mean, you cannot control how much HP you lose, at least the enemy controls it. So that's why I thought, no, this is useless. But turns out it's a mistake of the mod at that time, and after I don't know when they update it, and now it shows correctly that there's no time limit. And sorry, just now apparently my original audio had some problems. I have to remake the audios without knowing what I was talking before. So yeah, there's no time limit, so it should be working as intended, and it's basically 100% of damage increase, pretty good. So let's get into a battle and see. So we will try to get hit by the enemy without actually doing anything. So, and you can see that I have a shield there, right? And even though I have the shield, I do not really take any damage to my HP. I still gain this counterattack effect. So it doesn't matter if you have a shield. And you can see that it keeps on increasing as my shield being wearing down. And also, which means that there's no time limit. So it's good. It works as intended. It is a good damage amplifier. It's a good destiny. So, and you can see here, I already take 22. And yeah, basically, it's nice. Next one I'm going to talk about is Heavenly Giant. And this is used to be a quite good, let's say a quite good, or yeah, let's say quite good destiny for summon build, but now it's really not that useful anymore. So basically every time you use your ultimate for the first time, no, not every time, first time, you summon a heavenly fighter to fight for you, and it's actually a giant, and it's not have much damage, but it used to be at least it's a good, let's say a damage absorber. You can attract the enemy, but that's when attract enemy attack. But that's when the game was very early, and as the game progresses, there are so many new skills, new stuff, which makes this thing useless. No, let's just call it that way. But one good thing is this heavenly fighter actually follows you through different rooms, so that's good. So you don't need to worry that in the beginning if you use this thing, and later on it won't disappear as well. So not much useful, but it's still okay. Let me try it. So, this guy is annoying. So I use our ult, and this is the heavenly giant we get. Oh, one-shot it. And notice that if I come into the next one, he's still here. So let's see how much damage can this guy do. Negligible. Just look at how much damage he does. And it's not even attacking that much. He doesn't do much damage, so that's why he's kind of useless now. The next one, Warlord. And I realized you actually might already show in the previous battle, but who knows? It's maybe not that visible, because I enter the battle well with this destiny as well. But what does it do? Every 10 seconds, you summon a Warlord, which does not have HP bar, so it's invisible. It exists for 5 seconds, and it continues deals damage 7 times per second, so it's quite fast. And the damage itself is not that high, 665, but at least it's something. And also make the enemy within range deal less damage. So yeah, it does something. I think the good thing about this thing can be useful maybe for something like a lightning build where you need a fast attack frequency, or maybe for a true damage build like Palm one. Otherwise, it's hard to say what's the other useful thing. I mean, okay, it works. That's there. It's not super great, but it works. I mean, in a way that the main thing is if it's always there, it will be better. But it's like every 10 seconds, the last 5 seconds, and it deals 35 times damage. That's it. 5 multiplied by 7. And if you have it, it's better than nothing. But it's not super great. Let's see. Are you kidding me? I really don't. Come on, where is the drum? Where is the drum? Here we go. That's a drum. It does deal some damage, and yeah, you just don't really expect it to actually deal too much damage to the enemy. The next one in our list, Old but Strong. Your defense increased by 1 every year. Not good for a player, but very good for NPC. And this is mainly because, as a player, I know this is not the best example, even though I would say this is a very old, very old save. I had this save even before the entire Reborn Transcendent update, and I become Enlightenment within 20 years. And then during the Reborn and Transcendent update, I started making videos. So after that, I started using trainers or like modes and cheating stuff in order to make videos. Therefore, in 4 years' time, I directly reached Transcendent from Enlightenment. In reality, as you can see, I have my Chaos playthrough, which is completely clean save. I still reached Transcendent late in 25 years. And yeah, granted, I was using a powerful build, Fire Sword, but even if you're not using a very strong build, you should be able to reach Transcendent late within 30 years. And that means this destiny will only brings you 30 defense, and I can have where you can have like 10k defense. This is literally nothing, no use for you. However, it can be quite useful for NPC, if I can find any NPC here, to be honest. So, for example, this NPC Reborn, and her age 1000. So if she has this old but strong, which she doesn't, her defense will be much higher compared to her peers. And this is actually a good thing for you to notice. So if you are looking for strong NPCs, haven't chosen ones, look for those ones who have this, old but strong, because they will be really stronger than even other normal Heaven Chosens. It's because NPCs are old, and a lot of defense increase really helps them to win in the SEC tournaments and such stuff. So good for NPC, but not good for you. The next one is technically, you would even say the best, the most overpowered destiny in this entire game, probably even more than Murderous Rise. But I personally consider it more like a bug, and it's just literally just my personal opinion, because if you look at, for example, Bilibili and many Chinese websites or guides, they really using Free Spirits plus Mengyi skill against everything, like 3 Immortals, and do speed runs for 3 Immortals, which I found a bit meh. So I think I already showcased how to use this in my artifact guide, but it's actually quite simple. Basically, what does it do? It allows you to directly use artifact spirits' ultimate skills without meeting their casting condition. And so certain artifact spirits, for example, Yumei, has a very scary, very powerful ultimate. And so usually they have a precondition. Basically, for example, this guy you need for her to cast 10 spiritual foxes. But if you have this thing, you don't need that. You just summon the artifact, come close to it, press E to use the the Mengyi skill, and this will allow to sleep every single enemy on the ground, so you won't be bothered by, for example, Li Zhu's high damage or Jian Yi's continuous control. Then you can prepare yourself for your final strongest move, making fairy flames, waiting for Jian Yi the heavenly immortal skill, and then you just use the skill and kills everything. So this is great for controlling, but also it's an even more worse, like it actually deals percentage of enemy HP, of maximum HP as well. And that's quite crazy, because so 5% HP and waking up another 5% HP damage, and with more talents along this line, you can manage to let them lose even more percentage HP. So technically, what you can do is you get into battle, summon the artifact, use Mengyi's skill, everyone get asleep. You don't need to do anything, just waiting for them to wake up, lose some HP, but around that time you take back your artifact, and then you summon your artifact again, and come to here, use Mengyi Spirit, use this out again. Just by doing this, you literally can kill everything, and it's not really fun. And in my opinion, it's more like a bug. So I would still say this one, obviously, in the current state of game, is probably the best Destiny, most powerful one. Even though I think they should nerf it in a way that you can only use the ultimate of Artifact Spirit once in the entire battle. If it was nerfed like that, I would say this is still a quite powerful skill, Destiny, because it allows your Artifact Spirit to use your ult immediately. And sometimes, for example, with Meng Yi, at least initial control, still quite good. And there are other Artifact Spirits which have quite powerful ultimates. For example, Linger, this guy, will deal damage and convert those damage to your maximum HP, so quite good. And Ling Shuang, this thing also have the lunge attack dealing damage, and for the next 20 seconds, each of your attack have 30% chance to ignore some defense. So many of them have quite good ultimates, and sadly, because they have initial conditions, most of the time, and because artifact cannot really stand in the game, in the battle, in chaos, so most of the time you can't use their ultimate at all, which is a pity. And Free Spirits allows you to use those ultimates, which I think is quite good. It's a quite good Destiny. Unfortunately, it's so good in the current state of the game that you can continue to use it without any limit, which makes it too much overpowered. So personally, I restrain myself from using this. The next one in the list is only introduced after the Gourd update, and you can see why, because it's called Imp Guardian. It's of course only for your Gourd. And obviously, if you are not using the Gourd, if you're using I, don't take it. I think that's obvious. And what does it do? Again, 50% cooldown reduction for your Gourd during the battle. And if your Imp is not in its true form, it can gain 1% HP back every second. So the 1% HP back is not that useful, but the 50% of cooldown reduction for the Gourd is quite useful. It basically allows your Imp to stay on the battle much more frequently. And yeah, I mean, if you have nothing else good one to take this guy. Because some Imps are quite strong. For example, This guy's skill, like Large Mushrooms, literally make your damage 3 to 4 times. And if you can make this thing stay in the battlefield 2 times more frequently, you get basically 2 times more time to have 3 times or 4 times damage. So in that sense, Imp Guardian definitely worth it. Yeah. And the next one in our list, I think is similar. It was introduced in a similar time, which is called Unfettered Cultivator. And this is, yeah, now think about it, it is around the same time. And you can see that it has blue text. It's a special one. So this is only available from the Transcendent Master event that you can encounter by roaming around in Yongning and the Laser region if you are at Foundation and after year 5. So after that event, if you become the Transcendent Cultivator's disciple, then you can choose this one. So what does it do? 5% 500 travel speed, nothing. But if you are play as Rogue Cultivator, you have 50% chance to find some spiritual fruits every time when you cultivate on a tile with 100 and more chi, which is quite good if you are playing as a Rogue Cultivator. And I believe when this video is out, I've already released my Rogue Cultivator guide, and you see that even though now there are better ways to learn skills, basically learn skill from a master to bypass the spiritual fruit limit as a Rogue Cultivator. However, it's still nice to have more spiritual fruits, like not only you need those things to enter the spiritual lock circle as well as demon seal circles, and also it helps you to bring up your roots so that the enemy have a less chance to neutralize your damage. So still quite nice to have. And also I found it quite from a roleplay point of view, it's very nice. And they have very cool Chinese name, Xiao Yao Yu. So Yeah, its English translation doesn't really do much justice, but yeah. And here it comes the bad destiny, sadly. So the first two, I will talk about these two together, is actually Pickpocket as well as Quick Escape. I believe I talked about Quick Escape in my Chaos playthrough, and I said, at that time I said, yeah, this probably is quite a good one. Maybe the best one, because it guarantees escape. And at that time, I was thinking, if you can always successfully escape every battle, then whatever you do have no consequence. That's why I said so, but turns out it doesn't work that well as I thought. First of all, if you are playing against a mythical beast battle, like a boss battle, you cannot escape. So, and that is the most important battle, because that's the battle usually you can die. And if you can escape in those battles, then yeah, it's good, right? It helps you not die. Second, another scenario I thought about is you can steal all the enemies, every NPC stuff, and then even if you end up in a fight, you just escape, right? Turns out in those scenarios, if you steal and you escape, you lose the item you steal. So that is the worst setting. And at that time, I thought, if I combine this guy with this thing, Pickpocket, basically guaranteed succeed stealing items. Even though no victim will notice that, so what? They fight me, I just use quick escape to escape. Then it's great. Turns out it doesn't work that way. Yeah, you lose the item you steal, even if you succeed to steal it. So that these two both become useless. And we will continue with our not so good, or say useless, destinies. Let's say Flame Beauty. After a successful escape, your opponent will like you better. Maybe you want to maybe combine with that quick escape. With Flame Beauty, you can fight every NPC and then escape to make them like you. Waste 2 destiny slots to do such shenanigans. Definitely not worth it. Then, respectable opponent. Yeah, the opponent's affinity towards will increase more if you defeat any spars. First of all, you need to spar with them, which cost stamina, and many times I am in 0 stamina, because every battle costs a little bit of stamina as well. So, and I don't need, why do you even need it? I mean, training partner, similarly, okay, you get 30% more HP after training together with others. They will give you an item. Looks quite nice. Let's say, you might think about taking it as a rogue cultivator, because as a rogue cultivator you do not have a sect, right? And you mostly get experience from dual cultivating or training together with others. And also you will give an item, but the item is random, and so there's very little chance you get a good item, because in this game both items are not good or useless. And 30% more HP, fine. I mean, basically save you 30% time. Is that really that important compared to one destiny slot? I don't think so. So still useless. And then killer vibe. Is this even a good destiny? Other NPCs will hate you after you interact with them. From which angle this is a good thing? You have a lower chance of encountering monsters. Is that really a good thing? Because if I really don't want to encounter monsters, I can use the monster rebelling charm. And otherwise, I probably want to encounter monsters when I'm farming, like to get those learning and comprehending materials. This is literally negative. Next, burning jealousy. You deal 15% more damage to cultivate with a partner or husband and a wife. Really? Why do I even need this? And I would still call this thing useless if you deal 500% more damage. Because in general, from the beginning, from the base route, I don't need to kill other cultivators. It's not like I have a problem with them. Like NPCs in general, if you are using the correct build, they are not a threat. And 15%, then Spiritual Fruit Gift looks quite nice. Quite nice for a rogue cultivator. You receive free fruits every year, but first of all, you don't need them now. You can learn skill from the master. Second, Unfettered Cultivators can get you spirit fruit every time you cultivate on a G spot. And that's not every year. That's probably every few days. Every few days you get those fruits. It's much better than you. Then to the fullest, your experience increase every time you spend spirit. Again, even as a rogue cultivator, experience is not a bottleneck. You gain it, you know. You can always go for a trip with your little admirer, and every month usually there are random people coming to do a cultivate with you. So don't bother about this. Now what? Fight and learn. When fighting with other cultivators, you have 20% chance to learn a skill from them. Cannot occur more than once every 6 months. You know, every 6 months is exactly the cooldown for you to learn skill from a master, which you can select which skill you learn, not have 20% chance to learn a random skill which you do not know which one from them. Not even sure why this is red. And Mind Reader. When talking to or debating with other cultivator, you will foresee their desired response. You know, if you have played this game for some time, you basically remember those things by heart. Like, most of the answers are quite straightforward. Like, oh, if you see some old person almost dying, are you going to help them or not? Well, if the guy who's debating with you is an evil person, then don't help. If he is a good person, then help. Just look at the person's internal trait and take the corresponding answer. That's how it is. And apart from that, there are a few which are a bit weird, like about chicken and egg problem. So basically, good people think chicken first, bad people think egg first. And this is, in a way, you consider your parents better than you, or you consider you over your parents. So good people think parents have more, you know, towards you, and bad people think, no, I'm more important than my parents. You can comprehend these things like this, and if you are in middle way, you say, you what? So, I mean, there are other ones which are a bit weird and harder to understand, but if you play this, there are resources, or probably I will also put one on my YouTube post to tell you that what is the correct answer. You just remember it. You don't need this thing. Let's continue with useless ones. Natural Essence. You recover some of HP, MP, and focus every time you perform cultivation on the world map. Hotel exists, dude. Hotel exists. Like, just go to the hotel, the inn, rest 5 days, that's it. You recover everything back. You don't need it. What else? Butterfly Spirit. I'm not even sure if this thing actually implemented into the game, because I've never seen any NPC have it, and I have never seen this thing appears in my list. So basically, he's still a near death one, but because I'm not even sure if this thing is implemented into the game, so I didn't even include it in that episode about near death destinies. And I believe I think I've tried it in the battle, and it doesn't seem to work. So I believe it's probably not really implemented. Speed reading. Time needed for learning manuals minus 10 days. Ugh. You just save time, that's it. Basically, instead of 15 days, you need 5 days. You save some time. Efficient learning. Spirit stones needed for learning manuals minus 80%, so you save some money. I don't even want to comment more. Motivated study. Mood dropped after learning manuals minus 80%. You save some mood item. Spark of Genius. Earn 100% more experience when learning manuals. What is this experience about? Is this the experience where you actually, the bar where how much you can learn manuals? If that's the case, then basically this thing allows you to reduce your manuals learning by half, as well as a mood drop by half. So it's kind of combination of motivated study and speed reading, which are both useless. Therefore, you are also useless, genius. And then realization. So this is actually fun because there are a series of destinies, realization from 1 to 9. So basically you gain a lot of skill points. Looks a lot, right? But of course you cannot really get this realization 9 when you're at low realms, and if you're at higher realms, skill points 100, 1000 skill points, basically 10 skill fruits. First skill fruit, basically 10 red book to the Jade Blossom Shrine. And if you have Jade Blossom Shrine, you have enough skill points. You don't need to waste one destiny for it. And to be honest, now I have a question about this. Is if I take this thing, have 1000 skill points, and if I remove this thing from with item, well, this 1000 would I lose the 1000 points? If that's the case, it will be quite useless. If that's not the case, you might consider take this thing at some point to boost up the thing and then delete it later. But I think, yeah, when you delete it, you'll probably lose it. Then Forge Master. This is again a 3 series 1. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, you don't need to take realization 1 till 9 and then get 10, because otherwise you won't even have any slot for anything else. So it's not really a series 1. I think this one similar Forge Master. It's similarly there was 2 before it. You don't really need to take those 2 in order to upgrade it to here. And the only thing this looks okay is maximum focus plus 5000. But like where's my focus? Yeah, I have 35,000. So yeah, this does allow me to actually equip one more artifact, but I could also do it in a way by drinking wine to boost it and getting a better companion. And I don't think it's worth it. Alright, I believe this is the last 5 and still not a good one. Source of Joy, maximum mood plus 50, healthy body, maximum health plus 50, vigorous, maximum stamina plus 50, and those are the things you have it here. So mood, health, stamina. I don't think they are useful. Mood, I mean, it basically allows you to learn a bit more manuals without using interest item, but interest item drops all the time if you are killing any type of monsters. No use. Health, similarly, unless your health drops to a very low level, you might be losing your lifespan and also losing HP all the time, but you can recover it just simply by staying in. Stamina, similarly, to many actions, including making stuff, pills and stuff. Also talking with people, hiring people, gifting people, they all need stamina. And I know it is annoying that if you do not have a lot of stamina and you have to rest all the time. But that's it. It is annoying. Yeah, I agree it's annoying, but it's not a reason for you to waste a slot of destiny on. And then we have 2 very, the ones which can be confusing for newer players. Quick Witted, Inside plus 50, as well as Lucky Star, Luck plus 50. Looks really good because we have been talking about like what do you need when you create the game. Luck and insight, right? Oh my god. And if you do not have good luck and insight, this is so bad. And don't look at mine because mine is after the cheated engine. So because this is a for show character. And I know that's the case, but in the end, with whatever luck and insight do, luck does help you to drop more stuff. Insight help you many by learning manuals as well as comprehending with to get better red ones. Okay. So first of all, you can always save and load to compensate your luck and insight thing. And yeah, you can still temporarily increase the luck inside via several events and permanently increase it in the village quest when you break through to Transcendent. And I would say Luck and Insight, these two, you can consider it as a last choice if you do not have any better destinies. Or, for example, you are playing lower difficulties, you don't really need any destiny like those essential ones to make support a build because you don't really need a build. Then you can consider take them. If they are not bad, they have their use. 50 Insight, 50 Luck, it's a lot. But for a proper build, you really don't have extra slots for these things, and that is time you have to sacrifice. So no need to take them. And I will conclude this episode with these two interesting destinies, because I think that it will be everything which is being implemented into the game. There are still a few I know exist in the fire which are not implemented into the game, so I won't be talking about them unless in the official 1.0 version they will actually add it back, and then I will test them out and just add it as an appendix for this series. And yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this series has not been a proper tier list format, mainly because I do not know how to make a tier list with so many destinies in one page where you can see everything clearly. It's almost impossible in my opinion. And as usual, if you have some ideas, please let me know in the comments. And as usual, thank you for watching, and if you like the content, please consider leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, very importantly. And so I will see you next time.